Then we get to WrestleMania 3, March 29, 87, in front of a number of people that's so large, the human brain cannot comprehend it, brother.
I've actually sat down and done a podcast with Ricky Steamboat before and talked about this match. As Ricky has said many times on many other podcasts, and he's told the story many times, but he told it to me and talked about how him and Savage recognized that there was going to be a large crowd for WrestleMania 3. And they recognized that Hulk and Andre was the thing that sold those tickets. But they realized that this could be something that could launch them in their career. So, like, if there's going to be this many people, let's have the best match possible. Now, the crushing of the larynx, they could, as Ricky said, they could have done a whole story of working over his throat, and they could have told a nice story, but the wrestling match would have suffered a little bit. So they're like, let's just kind of put this storyline to the side and just focus on having the best wrestling match we can. And he said the element that makes that match one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time is a very small thing that a lot of people forget. In that, to win a wrestling match, I know they sound like a mind-blowing thing. The way you win a wrestling match, obviously, is submission count out and multiple other things, but primarily, it's a 3 count. Pinning your opponent's shoulders to the mat for a count of 3. So, to create as much drama as possible, Savage and Steamboat put as many pinfalls as they possibly could into a wrestling match. From the beginning to the end, he said, Ricky was like, we put more pinfalls in the match than he's ever put in any other match he's ever had before, because the idea of who is going to get this 3 count and just do it over and over again. This is how you win the match. This is how you win the match. And as the later match goes, the closer they get, and that's why they can buy into it more. But establishing very early on how this match will end will be a 3 count, and just putting that in there as much as possible and building to each one of them. And the story of Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat sitting in a Detroit hotel room with a legal notepad and writing down the match, lock up, takedown, and just writing every single maneuver down in a legal notepad, going over and over and over and over and over it to make sure the match is as flawless and as perfect as possible. And then going out there and executing it. It is just high-level art. It is high-level performance by just 2 masters and pros of the craft. Now, obviously, like, people are like, well, I had to write the whole thing down. Well, I mean, a lot of wrestling is very highly choreographed, but, like, they wanted it to be so perfect and so unique and so amazing. Like, sometimes it takes a little bit extra mental effort. You know, you don't have a 5-star match by saying, see you out there, brother. You got to put some work in, and you know, people shit on Savage about that for years, but...
Wait, is that looked down upon by wrestlers?
Old-timey wrestlers. I think wrestlers today we go over so much stuff now, but it shows a level of care. It shows a level of, like, caring too much. And that's why this match has stood the test of time and could be put out in any WrestleMania from now until the end of time and still hold up.
Going back to the biography, many problems with it, but my favorite part by far is when they get into the WrestleMania 3 match, and they cut to Hogan first. And, of course, Hulk Hogan's the draw. Hulk Hogan knows Hulk Hogan's the draw. Hulk Hogan claims that Hulk Hogan would be the draw if Andre the Giant weren't there, and he was just in the ring by himself. It's just Hulk Hogan. And they're talking to him, and they're like, do you think it was their intention to steal the show at WrestleMania 3? He goes, no, not at all. I just think they're 2 really great wrestlers that went out there and had a great match. Cut to Ricky Steamboat. It was our full intent from the onset to steal the show. Cut back to Hulk, like, yeah, I just think they're really great guys. And Ricky's like, we set out to upstage Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Like, could not be
it's
any
like a
plainer.
Comedic cut.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
Because it's true, because that's what they were trying to do. They wanted all the eyeballs on them, and that's what high-level performers, they are very selfish, and you need that selfishness to get ahead to that next level, and that's what Macho Man is trying to get to. He is in a place that he has been dying to get to. So much, in fact, he started a wrestling promotion to get into this place, and now he's going to be in front of an ungodly amount of people. Do you think he's not going to convey to them that he is the man?
A couple things about this match. First off, after all that drama, all that build, all the steps that the match was, I love that it just ended in Ricky rolling up Macho for the win. Like, sometimes that ending is kind of dumb, but for some reason it just works here. And then I've probably seen this match, I don't know, 15, 20 times. Watching it back for this episode, this is the first time I realized how comedically blown all the way up Dave Hebner was from all those fucking 2 counts. He is just like panting and sweating, and he looked like he was gonna die in the ring.
As I said, they just put as many near falls into it as possible to create that drama and then build that drama, and those near falls get closer and closer and closer throughout the match, and that was all intentional, and that was the true story. If you watch that match back with that lens, you see the real mastery.
I want to give a shout out to David Hebner for having one of the best ref bumps I've ever seen. Like, it was very fluid how it hit, and then he went down like a fucking dramatic actress in the silent era. Like, oh, I fainted. And he went down like a ton of bricks. It looked fantastic.
It's because he was so goddamn tired. He was probably like, oh, thank God, the ref bump. I can fucking lay down for 10 minutes.